Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm Steve, your host. In today's episode, we're going to be weathering the lower hull. I've got it primed and painted. I'm going to show you how I did some simple weathering on the hull. I hope you guys enjoy the video. You guys have a great day. Thank you. Okay, we have our model base coated in Tamiya XF59, their desert yellow. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to do some old school dry brushing with Vallejo's Iraqi sand just to get some of the elements on the road wheels and the return rollers to pop. This is good old-fashioned dry brushing, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of work the dry brushing into an abrasion coat of the XF59 just to show wear on the XF59, and you'll see how that will work with the German gray we're going to use in just a little bit. So I think that's looking pretty good. Dry brushing is still a valid method. I still love a bit of dry brushing. Always makes things pop out. And we'll do the same on the drive sprocket. Again, these lower hull components were exposed to a lot of sand and wear. Same with the idler. Then what we're going to do is we're going to come back and add the German gray. My theory is that this vehicle is in the sand. The lower components would have had abrasion from the sand, would have lightened the desert yellow, and would have gotten down to the German gray at some point. Again, with this method, this scheme, I think less is more. You just want a hint. You don't want it too much in your face. Do the same with the drive sprocket and idler, just to have continuity amongst all the suspension parts. So now what I want to do is I want to come back with a pin wash, and this will make some of the lower hull components pop. Now, you probably won't see a lot of this once the model's assembled, but with all these details you're putting in on the lower hull, all the little paints, all the detail painting, all the weathering, all the wear, once you have it together, it'll just look better than something that hasn't been touched. So we'll get a bit of a wash around the shock absorbers. We'll go ahead and do the same with the crew hatch, and we'll get the forward shock absorber. Nope, we're going to go ahead and get the drive sprocket housing. You won't see that, but again, it'll be there. It's all part of the weathering process. You want continuity, amongst all your components down there. And now we'll start with the wheels. Make the nuts and bolts and hubs, make those guys pop. And then what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and get the idler back here. Again, you probably won't see a lot of him. You should be able to see parts of it through the sprockets on the idler. Again, all these little touches you're making will all come together and really make your model pop. Another thing I like to do on flat vertical surfaces is I like to put vertical streaking. Now, it looks a bit thick here at the moment, but what's going to happen is I'll come back in with a thinner moistened brush and just thin it out, and you'll see that here just a second. And like anything else in the weathering techniques, start off with less because it's easier to add than it is to take away. So I've got enamels on top of acrylics, so I'm pretty safe at the moment. If I don't like what's going on, you can pretty much erase the whole thing with just with an enamel brush. Don't go crazy with it, but you should be able to get most of this off if you don't like it. So for me, I start off small and work my way up to the finish I like. Now, just to highlight some things, we're going to come back in with a bit of white, and white's an interesting color to work with. In modeling, pure white shouldn't exist. Same with pure black. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to it's just when I'm done here, there's just going to be a hint of white on here. and you'll see what it looks like. I like the way it looks. And again, once you have all your elements together, it's really going to make your model pop. So right now it's pretty broad, but we'll, like we did with the raw umber, we'll be able to just kind of thin them out. What you really want is just thin streaks. You just want a hint. You don't want anything stark. So we're working our way through, just removing a bit more white till we get the effect we're looking for. You can see it's not really pure white anymore. It's got a little bit, it certainly is toned down a lot, and really that's what you're looking for. Okay, so now we're still doing a little bit of cleanup, and what I want to do is, if you want to add more, you can add more at this point, just to get it where you want. Again, it's easier to add than it is to subtract with this method. So just doing some touch up. I think it's looking pretty good, if I say so myself. We're going to do the same with the drive sprocket and idlers, and here's the finished product. You can see the abrasion with the German gray coming through. I think that looks pretty realistic. I'm happy with that. And that white is just a reflection. It's not that bright. So I'm going to have Hans play us out with his Polka Pirates. Thanks for joining me. Bye now.